Tonight, for the first time in more than 2 years, former Congresswoman Corrine Brown is out of prison. But right now, there's been no sign of her at her Jacksonville home. This is what the property looks like tonight. Brown was released from prison after her attorney argued she had underlying health conditions that put her at an increased risk of dying from COVID-19.
She was serving a 5-year sentence at a correctional facility in Central Florida on federal fraud and corruption charges. She was in prison just over 2 years. The News for Jax team is covering all angles of Brown's release, starting with Joy Purdy. Joy, I understand you spoke with someone that she called right after being released this afternoon.
Yes, Kent, Mary, his name is John Coleman. He's a Central Florida businessman who's known Brown for years. He says because of her health issues, he was afraid that she would likely die in prison, but now he hopes that she can join him in his push for prison reform.
She was on her way home, and she sounded good. She sounded strong and obviously very grateful.
Orlando real estate mogul John Crossman says former Congresswoman Corrine Brown had just left prison and was on her way home to Jacksonville when she called him on the phone. He's called Brown a friend for years. They met through the scholarships he and his family created at predominantly black colleges. Crossman also has a prison ministry talking to inmates about God and last visited Brown at the Coleman Federal Correctional Complex in February when he could tell she had health issues.
Physically, she didn't move much. I've been around people, I'm sure you, that are elderly, and sometimes they stay really still. And that's because, they're dealing with some health issues. And so she was very sedentary. She's very still.
Crossman says Brown never wanted to talk about her own physical ailments. Instead, he says her focus was on being an ear and eventually a voice for the other inmates.
On the phone call today, did she tell you that she was planning on doing anything or what her next move might be while she's out?
I don't know anything about what her next move might be, but I will tell you that she absolutely was concerned about the other inmates, that was a big part of it.
Crossman says as she left prison, the other inmates were calling out her name.
When it came to the time where she got out of the prison, the other inmates cheered. They were really happy for her. I think I've mentioned to you before that she's done so much work with encouraging other inmates, giving them hope, trying to be an advocate and a resource for them, that they were very, very happy for her.
Brown went to prison in January of 2018. She was scheduled to be in prison until the year 2022. Mary?
Thank you, Joy. News for Jax.